Welcome back to Facebook Live with the CEO. Sorry for the interruption. Of course, when you're doing things live, things can happen. So we do apologize. We had a weak signal, but I hope that it's a lot stronger for you now. And I'm excited to be live with you on today. My name is Ronaldo Hardy. I am the president and CEO here at Southwest Louisiana Credit Union. And some of you may already be familiar with me. You may have watched our live videos before. If you have not and this is your first time, welcome. If you've watched before, welcome back. But we're certainly glad to have you here today. I hope that the information that I share with you will be helpful, that you will grow from the knowledge that we give you, and any questions that you have for us today or for me, be sure to share those. Now, I want to start with two things, and then we'll get into some information today. We kind of started a thing with my shoes in the very first Facebook Live, because if you know me, you will know that I like to wear cool shoes. And so I have to open this up by showing my shoes to you, and then I'll share something else with you and we'll jump in. So here are the shoes for today. Very simple, yet stylish and fun. So I hope you all enjoyed those. But I also wanted to share this with you. Since we've done the last Facebook Live, I have made some changes in my office, and I really love this on my desk. Some of you may be wondering why I have this on my desk, but this is actually my personal mission statement for my life. And so when I originally started with having a mission statement, it was to help others to discover and become the best version of themselves. And then I began to dig deeper and say, well, at the end of the day, I build people. And then I worked a little bit harder and said, why do I do it? And it's because I want to make an impact on this world. And so I believe that changing the world for me is through other people. And the work that I do to help to build people, to grow them and strengthen them, will help to make a difference in this world. So with that said, thank you for paying attention to my very lengthy introduction. But let's talk today about credit cards. I want to be able to help you to make wise decisions with your credit cards, both just as a consumer choosing to have a card, but also helping you to be able to travel better with the cards that you do have. I want to start by saying that getting a credit card is not always a bad thing, because I know that a lot of people hear the word credit card and it gets very scary hearing those two words together. You know, and you hear a lot of people that say, don't get a credit card, it's bad for you. I have to disagree with that. I would like to say that if you know that you cannot handle having a credit card responsibly, then do not get one. You know, if you know that you cannot maintain the control and the urge to spend, then I'm going to advise you not to get a credit card. But there are a lot of positive benefits to having a credit card and what it can do for you. Many people use credit cards to boost their credit score, because when you have a revolving trade line, which is what a credit card is, it actually helps to strengthen your score, as long as you make sure that you keep those balances somewhere around 30% of the available balance on the card. When you do that, you actually boost your credit score, and that puts you in a better position to move forward with additional purchases you want to make in the future, such as a home, a car, or things of that nature. And so if building your credit is important to you and you believe that it is something that is valuable, then you can use a credit card to do that. We have a wonderful credit card here at Southwest Louisiana Credit Union, and we believe that it is the best choice for you for a number of different reasons. Number one, we have a fixed rate as opposed to having a variable rate. And so when you get a card with us, your rate is going to remain the same. And it's the same for both cash advances and for purchases. Our lowest rate on credit cards is 7.99%. And so it's based upon your credit worthiness, but that's really attractive to get a credit card with that rate and it be fixed. I believe that is a good reason to have one. Also, here's a few other things that we have. No penalties on your APR. We have no annual fees. And then also, it's accepted worldwide, and we have scorecard bonus points for you with that card. And so there are a lot of benefits to having that card with us. We just want to make sure that you also use it wisely if you choose to get one. So don't get a credit card and max it out. That would not be a good thing. Make sure if you get that card that it is your intention to keep that balance within 30% of the available balance. And if you do that, it will actually strengthen and boost your credit score. Now, I want to talk about this one last part, and then we'll open the floor for questions. I hope you're getting them prepared for me. But I want to talk about some steps with your credit card to take when you are traveling, because one of the best uses of a credit card is for travel. If you've ever traveled and tried to use a debit card to get a rental car or anything of that nature, or if you've used a debit card to book your hotel stay, you will realize that sometimes that comes with a lot of complications because of the amount that they have to charge the card to make sure that they have security in the purchase that you're making. And so having a credit card could be very good for you in those instances. Also, because traveling can sometimes cause situations that may put you at risk for fraud, it's also better to use your credit card so that you don't tie up your checking account. Even if you have the money in your account, you can simply use the money in your account to pay that card back once you return from your trip. And so I want to give you a few tips for using your card with travel, and then, like I said, we'll open up for questions. The first thing, make sure that you bring more than one card with you. There is no greater feeling of frustration than getting to a counter and realizing that one card isn't working. And one of the most common reasons that a card may not work is because you forgot to inform your credit union or your bank about the fact that you would actually be out of town. And so you get out of town, they think that it's fraud, and they block the transaction. And doesn't always seem to happen right after hours. So you're there, you need to charge the card, it's blocked because they think it's fraud, and you can't get anyone on the phone. That's a very frustrating situation. And so in order to avoid that, make sure that you bring more than one card with you, but also make sure that you try to take the necessary steps before traveling to notify your financial institutions of your travel plans. That will certainly help to reduce the amount of possibilities for your card to be blocked for fraud. Also, make sure you find out before you travel what perks you may have on your card for travel. Some cards have different travel programs available to you, benefits that you can get for using your card. So make sure you find that out before you travel so that you can take advantage of that while you are away. Also, this is a given, but it's something I think that we forget a lot. Make sure that you're always securing your credit card. Do not just leave it laying around in your hotel room. As nice as we want to believe that room service may be, it can be tempting when they walk in and they see a card readily available. So make sure that you have it secure. Make sure that you have it with you. Make sure that you have your information protected, because that's just smart business when you're traveling. And then the last thing I will say is be careful of foreign ATM fees. When you're traveling, sometimes the fees may be a little bit higher. Make sure that you're paying attention to the fees in that particular area when you are traveling. But again, having that card when you travel can be a very good thing. Having a credit card can be good for you because of what it can do to boost your credit score when it's used responsibly. I want to reiterate, if you know that you struggle with impulse buying and that you're going to charge that card up, it may not be a good idea for you to get a credit card. But if you can use it responsibly, not only can you boost your credit score with it, but you'll also have security in an event that you are facing an emergency and you need it. So with that said, I want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have for me, and I hope that I hope the information has been useful thus far. I hope that I can give you some more useful information as you ask questions. Any questions?
We have one. Should you be making copies of your credit card info whenever you travel, or should you give your credit card info to friends and family whenever you're traveling in case you lose it, or what are some what's some advice for making sure you have everything whenever you leave?
I would be very careful just with how I give that information out. I do think that you need to have your information secured somewhere. So there are a lot of alternatives now where most mobile providers are offering some type of electronic wallet to where you can store that card. I would recommend that, especially those that are extremely secure. Most of them who are offering those, such as Apple and Google, they have worked through the security precautions to make sure it's protected. I think that's one of the better routes to take to make sure that you don't have your information given out very easily. Of course, if you have a family member who you trust with that information, I'm not going to say not to do it, but I always advise against having a whole lot of exposure. Try as much as possible to limit the exposure you have to your card information, because we all have that one family member that they have all of the best intentions, but they can just get a little clumsy with information every now and then, and before you know it, you're asking for that card information and they're saying, oh no, where did I leave it? I can't remember, and your information may be exposed to someone else. So I'm very careful with how I give out my card information and where I keep it stored myself to make sure it's not easily accessible to someone. I try not to have images of my credit card in my email because my email could be hacked. And if my email is hacked, someone can get my information. So things of that nature. Try to be extremely careful with that so that you do avoid any type of identity theft or fraud on your card.
We have another question. Is it better to apply for a credit card or respond to a solicitation from a credit card company?
I wouldn't say that it's better either way. A solicitation simply means that company has run some type of credit report. They've been given a list that says that you have demonstrated some level of criteria that should lead them to believe that you qualify. And so there are times that you get an offer, or it's not even really truly a pre-qualified offer. Sometimes it's just an interest. They'll say, hey, we believe you qualify for this, contact us for full application. That means that they've gotten some information on you, but they haven't done a full pull of your credit. In the instances where you get a full offer, it's because they've been able to obtain a copy of your credit report or your credit score through a bureau, and that's how they're sending that offer to you. Either way, whether you apply or you accept through a solicitation, the credit card is still going to go onto your credit report. So it really doesn't matter how it happens. It just is a different process. One is them obtaining your information first and choosing to send you that offer. The other is you going and soliciting that offer. For us, if you were to ever receive an offer from us, it's because your information is already in our database, and once it refreshes, it lets us know what you may qualify for. And so if we believe it's a good opportunity for you, we will certainly reach out to you and let you know what we have to offer you.
Should you be updating your phone and address and information with your credit card regularly?
Absolutely. Make sure that your credit card company always has the most up-to-date, accurate information from you, because one of the things that could happen when you are in a scenario where you may be experiencing fraud or it may be potential fraud, your credit card company is going to make an attempt to contact you. If they have a number that is no good, then they won't be able to get in touch with you, and many times that's what causes them to block the card. And so if you want your card to be able to remain open, or also if you want to be notified of fraud right away so that you can take the necessary steps to either get a new card or to stop the impending fraud, or also to prove that you're not experiencing fraud, they need to have your most up-to-date information. So definitely do that.
Another question, if you don't have the best credit score, is there a credit card option for low scores? Or how can you help improve your score through a credit card?
Absolutely. So we do have credit card options for different credit scores. And as a credit union that focuses a lot on unbanked and underbanked populations, we do seek to try to help those who may be experiencing some less than ideal situations. That's no guarantee that we can do it, but we certainly try to. One of the options that you can definitely take is a secured credit card, and that simply means that you put up your own money, your own shares, your own savings against that credit card. So let's just say you have $1,000 in your account. You can say, I give Southwest Louisiana Credit Union the right to hold this $1,000 and issue me a credit card, and in the event that I don't pay this credit card, then Southwest gets to apply that $1,000 to the card. So it's a secure route to build credit. And when you do get a credit card and you are seeking to build your credit, you need to make sure that you use the card. You know, you don't want to have the card and not use it at all. Using it actually puts you in a position where you can have a reporting history of your payments, but you want to keep that balance. You want to keep that balance at 30% or less than the available balance. So if you have $1,000 available, you want to charge $300 or less on that card at one time, and when you pay it down, then hey, you can come back up to $300. But that puts you in the best position for your credit score to grow with a credit card.
Kimberly asks, do you think that the credit union can offer financial education classes in the near future?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that we're really focusing on. We want to be a resource point for all of your financial questions. So one of the things that we're focusing on is making sure that we integrate financial literacy into all aspects of our operation. We're going to make sure that we have this online. When we do roll out our new website, which we're working on, we will have a section of that website available to you, where there will be online courses that you can take on a variety of different topics, but also we will be organizing classes and workshops in the community surrounding specific topics. So we will certainly be able to offer that to you. And in addition to that, we have several, I believe we have about 10 or 11 financial counselors on staff now who can sit down and help you with your finances. And we have a goal to get 100% of our staff certified as financial counselors because it's a part of who we are. We want it embedded into our DNA here. So anybody who you ask a financial question to, we want them to be able to give you the best possible advice so that you can make the best possible decisions with your finances.
Jessica asks, what's the difference between a variable rate credit card and a fixed rate credit card?
A variable rate credit card is adjustable, meaning the company that you get that card with can choose to adjust your rate for any given reason. They can decide that you paid your payment 2 hours later than when it was due and choose to increase your rate because of that. They can decide that you've charged a certain amount on the card, and maybe because you maxed the card out, they charge you they decide to increase your rate. Or they could just decide that based upon a number of economic factors that they need an increase on that card to support their business model. So an adjustable rate simply means that the rate can adjust. It can go up. It generally won't go down. It generally will keep going up. A fixed rate means that rate will not change. That rate will not change. And so, of course, if you believe that you are in a better financial position, one of the things that we do encourage is to come back to us and say, hey, can we look at my credit today to see if I've improved? We'll be happy to look at that for you and see what we could do. But the rate that we give you is a fixed rate, meaning that we are not going to increase your rate along the way. If you get a 7.99 with us, you've gotten the best rate, and that rate will remain at 7.99, both for cash advances and purchases. That's amazing, because many cards, you have one rate for your purchases, and then it's a completely different rate if you do a cash advance. So to have a fixed rate that does not change for your card for purchases and cash advances, that's a huge benefit and one that we are so glad to be able to offer to you.
Nikita asks, is it more advantageous to ask for an increase or to get another credit card?
I say ask for an increase. If you have a card with a financial institution and it's a great card already, especially if you have a great rate, then ask for an increase because one, you're gonna have a longer history with that card, having that account open longer, and also you're showing a longer history of paying on that card. And so by increasing the limit on that card, you increase the room that you have on it, and as long as that helps you to stay within 30% in terms of what you have charged, 30% of the available balance, then it will help your credit score to climb. So the longer you have the account, the more you pay on time, and the lower the balance is on the card in relation to the available balance, then the better it will help to improve your credit score.
Allie asks, are the rates here better than other credit cards? So, for example, what is a typical rate for a nationwide credit card that you're going to see from other offers versus what are y'all's rates?
We've seen the average rate on a credit card be as high as 26%, the average. And so for us, Our lowest rate is 7.99%. The highest rate that we will charge based upon severely impaired credit is 18.99. So even the highest rate we will charge is still lower than the average card, which is, I mean, just so impressive. And you have to be careful a lot of times because you'll see introductory offers and they can be good in terms of getting a card at 0% to start off. But you need to make sure that you read the fine print and you know what that rate is going to increase to after that introductory period, because many times we don't pay attention to that. We get excited about the 0% for 6 months, and then 6 months passes by and that interest rate goes up to 30%, and we were not anticipating that. So be very careful, but yes, we certainly have one of the most attractive rates that I've ever seen. 7.99 is the lowest rate we offer, but even in a severely impaired credit scenario, 18.99 is the highest rate that we offer on a credit card, and that's still lower than what we've seen on average.
All right, final question. Many commercials advertise points and prizes for their cards. Does Southwest Louisiana Credit Union offer points? And I guess as another question, should you be wary when credit cards offer the too good to be true rewards and points?
Well, we do offer rewards on our card, and I'll tell you, I would say that it's ever too good to be true. A reward is just that. It's rewarding you for using the card. You know, I think that you want to be careful about the things that matter the most, which is, what is my rate going to be? Is it fixed or is it variable? Am I going to be charged any type of annual fees on my card? If I use the card as a cash advance as opposed to a purchase, is the rate going to be higher? Those are the things that matter the most. The rewards just simply incent you to use that card, and it's a benefit for using our card. So it's something that's good for you. I don't see any downside to having rewards. I see the downside really being more about what your rate is going to be. If it's fixed, are you going to have different fees? And so we're excited about the card that we have. We believe that it is a good option for you. If you want to apply, the application is very simple and easy to do and to fill out. I feel all salesy because I normally don't do that, you know, but I just felt like I needed to have this in case you wanted to see it. But you can certainly apply for our card. We want to help you out in any way that we possibly can. And I hope the information that I gave today is something that's helpful to you. Remember, if you know that you cannot use the card responsibly, it may not be a good idea for you to get a credit card. But remember that having one can be a good thing for you. It can absolutely boost your credit score if you do it right. So, thank you so much for joining me today for Facebook Live with the CEO. I love coming here and having dialogue with you. I hope that this was beneficial to you, and I look forward to joining you again next month.